Hello everyone, I'm Victoria, and this is Bronwyn.
Hi everybody.
And we are the Cauldron of the Celts. We are a devotional group in the San Francisco Bay Area, mostly polytheist of the Celtic flavor. Between us, we are mostly Irish polytheist, but we are a group who's open to all traditions, people who are just interested in hanging out and Celting with us.
Come a Celting.
Yeah. So, Bronwyn, what is the Cauldron of the Celts?
What an excellent question, Victoria. The Cauldron of the Celts, it started really just as a devotional group of pagans or polytheists, however you identify, who were devoted or worshipped Celtic deities. Celtic being sort of an umbrella term that
we'll get into what Celtic means in another episode.
We'll cover it. But it covers, Irish deities, Scottish deities, Welsh deities, Manx deities, Gaulish deities, the Celtic deities. And a way for us to gather together, to worship our gods, to deepen our own personal spiritual practices, to have rituals, to have feasts, to talk about, geeky historical things and what works for us and what doesn't work for us, and do that in an atmosphere that's not a tradition or a lineage or a you must do X, Y, Z or something like that.
So the Cauldron isn't a tradition or a lineage.
Nope.
What is it then?
It is a traveling feasting hall.
Oh, yeah.
We were very proud of that one. So we found, Victoria and I found that when we got together, the main things that we were doing when we were worshiping our deities was involved food, was feasting. I have a great love of feasting. Victoria also has a great love of feasting. And when we say feasting, we don't just mean like, hey, it's a sandwich and a beer, but you guys know, feasting. When I say feasting, what do you think of? I mean, you think of like golden platters with like shanks of like roast and like giant overflowing, mugs of beer and mead and things like that. And so when we feast, we try to bring out those sort of feelings and that aesthetic. We're trying to bring a little bit of the ancient world into our modern world, and enjoy it and do it ethically, responsibly, and, with purpose.
Yeah.
Does that answer the question?
I think so.
Okay, good.
I think so. So we're a traveling feasting hall.
We're a traveling feasting hall.
So a lot of pagan organizations tend to be traditions or lineages. What are some of the key differences between the traveling feasting hall and what you might expect to find in a tradition or lineage?
Well, this one, Victoria actually came up with herself. The main difference that we try to focus on here is that we found, and we know through experience, since we've both been in the pagan community for years now, that lineages and traditions usually are initiation processes. And initiation is a process through ordeal, like having to get to, know yourself better, having to come to a greater knowledge of the gods, usually through, some very hard breaking down and rebuilding processes. And
it's very effective.
It is.
It's a proven method.
Super effective. Great method. If that's what you're looking for, there are people out there. There are groups out there. I do recommend everybody highly vet the groups before they jump, both feet into the pond. But they're out there. They're great. They can bring a huge amount of depth and spirituality to your life. But we wanted a space that was a little more focused on foundational principles of celebration, of joy, of being there for each other and camaraderie, and celebration, toasting. And did I mention the feasting before? Because that's a thing in the feasting. So that's the main difference, I think, is that we're not focused on bringing you to experiences where you will undergo an ordeal in order to strengthen yourself. This is more of the feasting hall that you come to after your ordeal or your battle or, whatever quest you've been on, to celebrate the things that you've learned, to get the good slap on the shoulder, job well done, to toast to one another, to boast to one another, and go from there. Does that sound about right?
Yeah, and I think one of the analogies that really helps me is, so we talk a lot in our modern health world about building muscles and creating strength, and people think that lifting weights is what builds muscles, but it actually breaks the muscle down, and then when you rest, it regrows stronger. So if, life's ordeals or an ordeal path that you're on is doing that breaking down, the feasting hall is kind of where you can come and fortify.
Yeah, fortification, that's a good thing. That's something we focus on a lot also. Fortifying ourselves, fortifying our homes, our loved ones, things like that. So it's a little different. We're also not interested in giving you like the one way forward, and that's not really, we're not into it. It's not our thing. I mean, maybe somebody out there has the one way. I haven't met them yet. I don't think you have either. But we're interested in sharing our way, like the way that we do it, and we each do it differently amongst ourselves. But sharing resources is important. And so we would like to hear what you do and what works for you, just as much as we're willing to share what we do and what works for us. So again, that initiation, that lineage is sort of building traditions that are based on a specific set of beliefs and things like that. And that's less what we're interested in. I feel like in the Cauldron, we find camaraderie between our commonalities and not through uniformity. So like, we're not interested in making sure that you believe exactly what we believe or what I believe or what, so on and so forth. It's more about, oh yeah, like I totally see that. That's how I feel about XYZ. Have you thought about this? And so on and so forth. So
yeah, so more than okay, so one of the things that kept happening is I would have experiences or be doing research and learn something, and I would be like, bro, this thing, and we'd have an in-depth conversation, and it would strengthen and deepen both of our practices. And so more of what the Cauldron's focus is providing that community where we can all sort of build our own authentic practice and deepen it and just really grow and let that blossom and learn from each other, and in that, around the feasting table.
Around the feasting table. So like the very first thing that the Cauldron ever did was a feasting ritual for the Dagda. It was the Dagda's feast. Mm-hmm. It happened in August, which we've recently marked the calendar on. So that we do that. We do public feasting rituals. We do workshops on the various methods that we use in our personal practice. We also happen to travel around and go where we're invited to go to talk about whatever people are interested in. We've been to PantheaCon, where we've had, a roundtable discussion, and we also did a Dagda ritual there as well last year that went really well. We had John O'Sullivan and Amelia and Scott, who are also local Bay Area Dagda priests and devotional worshippers. So those are some of the things we do. Why are we here right now on your screen, whatever mobile device screen thing that you're on? That's a great question. That I just asked myself. That's me. That I'm the reason why we're on this thing, because I got a crazy idea in my head. So we're going on a tour to Ireland. We are going on a pilgrimage to Ireland. We're going to the homeland of our gods, in order to pay respect and honor and offerings and hopefully get a little deeper understanding of ourselves and our deities, because that's their homeland. Like, that's where the myths are. That's where the lore is from. Like, so we need to go and pay respect to the culture that's there, the people that are there, the sites, and so forth. And that's happening soon.
Less than a month.
Very soon. And it occurred to me while I was reading a book that was talking about how all of our written information from the past, especially ancient past, is mostly from a very small elite group of men. And we don't have the experiences of the lay people. We don't have the experiences of the women. We don't have the experiences of the people that, like, worshipped and had their hands in the dirt and, like, were there anymore. And how that sort of narrows our field of vision as far as what people thought and what people believed, and what they were doing. And it just sort of struck me in the face that we live in a time now where we have so much freedom as far as, like, being able to get our own experiences and our own thoughts out there. And wouldn't it be cool if we vlogged? So this is the beginning of that journey. We're going to start a vlog for the tour. We're going to start we're going to field a few questions in some other videos that we get a lot. And then we'll see where this crazy adventure goes.
Always adventure.
Always adventure. We do realize that, there's a lot of people out there that are very, all over the place in the world, in the U.S., etc., and they don't have access to, being able to come down and meet us at the pub on Saturday and have delicious brown bread and butter and, stuff like that. So maybe this is one of the ways that we can reach out and connect with more people and see what happens.
Yeah, so I think that gives you the basics of what is the Cauldron of the Celts and what we're trying to do here.
Oh. There is one thing, though.
Oh, yes. Because you haven't met the Cauldron until you've met the Cauldron.
Right. You have to actually meet the Cauldron. And this is our good friend. This is the Big Red. This is our good friend. He's our Cauldron. We take him places. He's a traveling Cauldron because we're a traveling feasting hall.
Naturally.
So you're going to see a lot of pictures of him. If you check out our Instagram, Cauldron of the Celts, at Cauldron of the Celts. Mm-hmm. Then you'll see him in the ocean, various other places. He's very beautiful. I mean, he photographs well. We're taking him to Ireland.
Absolutely.
So you'll see him there. I think that's about it. Yeah. So
feast on.
And hopefully we'll see you at Celting.